Hey everybody, 30 Teresa here. I wanted to do a little video today showing you the materials that I keep around the house for my shipping. And I was shipping some stuff today, packaging stuff up for customers, and it's like, let's do a quick little video just for fun. So, where should I start? Okay, so let's just start with the simple stuff, first class mail. So I've got some fairly small padded envelopes. I primarily use these to ship playing cards, things that are not fragile. Now, if a playing card deck had a hard case, I would not be shipping it in this envelope. I would want something a little more secure so the case doesn't crack. But I do sell a lot of small things like buttons and such, keychains and whatever. So little things like that can go in there. I will pad with more bubble wrap if necessary. Then I've got this larger padded envelope, and I believe this one is like 10 by 7 or something like that. And sometimes I will take something and put it in here and then put the little envelope into the bigger envelope just for some added padding, since this has bubble wrap and this has bubble wrap. And doing them like that doesn't necessarily increase the weight by too much. So I could still probably get something in this envelope, then stick it in this envelope, and it'll still probably be about 3 ounces or so. Next, I have a little larger size poly bubble mailer, and I don't know exactly the dimensions on this one either. I get these from Value Mailers on eBay. I buy all of my first class shipping items on eBay. There are some very inexpensive prices out there. So of course I would use this if I needed something larger than this for my first class shipments, or if I needed something that was more flexible, because these open really big and you can get a lot of stuff in there, and it's just more flexible to use. With my international shipments, the few things that I've sent internationally, I've actually done the stuffing method where I put them in this envelope and then I put that envelope into the poly mailer, because it's waterproof for the most part. As long as you seal it well and tape it well, it will be waterproof. And when things are going overseas, I don't know what kind of weather they're going to encounter in other countries and stuff, and it could take weeks to get from point A to point B. So I want them to be secure and nice, so when the customer opens up their order, they get exactly what they want in the condition that it should be in. So those are my first class mailer things. Besides small bubble wrap, I use more small bubble wrap than I do large bubble wrap. I do have a small amount of large bubble wrap in my shipping station for very fragile items, mugs and things like that. But for the most part, I buy a giant box of this stuff, and it's perforated, so I can just take off a square or 2 squares or 3 squares, however much I need. And then I just got some smaller rolls of the large bubble wrap. So for priority mailing, for the most part, I use a few different options here. I think most of us are familiar with the small flat rate box. It's fairly thin. It's only like 2 inches. And let's see what the dimensions are here. Let's get the camera to focus. So yeah, it's barely 2 inches. 1.625 inches. So, sometimes things don't always fit in the small flat rate box. And then, of course, if you wanted the medium flat rate box, it's huge. So, you get like 5 of these in here. So, the medium flat rate box is over double the price of the small flat rate box. So I don't use these very often. You'll see that this medium flat rate box is old. It has the old printing on it and not the new printing on it, because I don't use these very often. Because there's alternatives out there. Now, they're not always flat rate, but there are alternatives between small, which is wicked small, and medium, which is pretty dang huge. So, setting that aside and setting the small one aside, the other priority mailers that I use most often are the regional A boxes. This is a regional A box. It is smaller than the medium flat rate box. You can see it's smaller, and yeah, they're smaller that way too. Anyway, so I use the regional A box. The one thing that's great about the regional A box is that it is almost like flat rate shipping. You still get dinged on how far away you're shipping to. So if I'm shipping within the West Coast, this box is going to be pretty inexpensive for me. If I'm shipping all the way to the East Coast from Seattle, it will be more. And I think it maxes out around like $11 or $11.95 or something like that, which is basically the same price as the medium flat rate box. But if I'm sending something closer to Seattle than all the way to the East Coast, I will save money by using the regional A box. Regional A box ships at the 2-pound rate no matter where you send it. So I could fill 15 pounds of stuff in here if I had some heavy gold bullion or something. I could do 15 pounds of stuff in this box, and it's only going to ship for the 2-pound rate. So again, that's 2 pounds either from here to California is going to be cheaper than 2 pounds here to Florida would be more expensive. But still, it's only 2 pounds. This is also a regional rate A box, but it is a long box. You can fit some puzzles and board games and stuff in here. And again, it does the same thing as the little square or rectangle box, that it ships at the 2-pound rate. So again, it's going to be cheaper if I'm sending it from Seattle to California. It's going to be more expensive from Seattle to Florida. But sometimes you just need a big, long, thin box. In addition to those, which are sort of flat rate, this is a priority mailbox that I use fairly often that is not flat rate. This is the priority mailbox. I can't remember what it's called. It's got a special name. But anyway, it is a 7x7x6 box. It's actually 7/4, 7/4, 6/2 box. This box is great because it is almost a perfect square, and it can be used to ship a number of items. I primarily ship coffee mugs or other breakables that don't, that are too big for, the small box. But not necessarily. Size is a little different on this one. You can see this is the regional A box, and it is shorter than this one. So sometimes I have to use this. And, always check when you are shipping priority mail. When you're buying your labels, whether it be eBay or Etsy, look at your options, because sometimes it might be cheaper to ship in this box that is not flat rate as opposed to a regional rate box, or as opposed to a flat rate box. There are times where shipping in medium flat rate box is more cost effective than shipping in this smaller box. And sometimes what I might actually do is fill up this box because it's smaller. It will fit inside of the medium flat rate box as additional package material. And it won't bother the weight because this is flat rate and weight is not part of the factor when you're using a flat rate box. Anyway, so those are some of the boxes and stuff that I use. I wanted to show you one more thing that I've just recently added to my repertoire, because I just got these at a thrift store on Labor Day. You might have saw it in my Labor Day haul. I got these 2 packages of this amazing tissue paper. And it is actually so neat that I'm using it not only as wrapping paper or anything, but also, you know, some of it could be used for filling up the void and stuff. It is thinner than like a newspaper material, but it is thicker than regular tissue paper. So it's really nice. Like, you can't even see my hand through here, whereas a regular piece of tissue paper you would. And I don't know where this came from. I wish I would be able to tell you because it's so beautiful. And there's so many different patterns that came in this package. Look at these great retro patterns, which just really fit my Thrifty Teresa vintage motif. They're so beautiful. Oh, look at this blue one down here. Look at that. They're so cool. So I've got a lot of this, and I will definitely be using it, especially all through the holiday season. How nice would that be to be able to offer gift wrapping for my customers? If they want to ship something to a friend, I can give them a nice vibrant package. In addition, like I was mentioning, I was wrapping this package up today, and this is the reason that I thought about making this video. So I'm using a regional, the small flat rate box. A customer bought this box of cards from me, so I wrapped it up in the tissue paper really nice, but I had some extra, you know, empty spots on the side of the package that I wanted to fill in. So I just used a little extra material, plat, plat, plat. I'll put it all together. It will go to my customer, and when they open it up, surprise, they have a beautiful little gift waiting for them. So that's just a little tip that I wanted to give you. Anything you can do to brighten up or lively up your shipments, especially if you are an Etsy seller. Etsy customers who shop a lot on Etsy actually have pretty high standards when it comes to shipping. A lot of Etsy sellers include little freebies in their package. In my case, I always, you know, I'm going to be using this wrapping material. I always include my business card, which has a promo code on the back. I also always include thank you cards. So I always have a big supply of cards and envelopes on hand so I can write a thank you note to my customers. I don't do that on eBay. I don't necessarily give cute little thank you notes and stuff like that to my eBay customers. eBay customers can sometimes just be a different animal altogether. But with my Etsy customers, I'm so thrilled that I'm going to be able to give them these nice little pretty packages and make it feel exciting when they open up their gifts, especially through the holiday season coming up. So thanks for watching my shipping video. I hope everybody had fun, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!